Hello, and thanks for joining this week's Talky Tuesday live stream with me, your host, Winters SEO. Talking all the I couldn't think of a title. Talking all the things, Warhammer live stream. There's so many things happening in the world right now. In the world of Warhammer, Chaos Knights release, the Thousand Suns release, the Space Wars release, many releases in the last month. And then there's all the Horus Heresy stuff, all the Saturnine stuff, all the other bits with the Saturnine stuff and the tarantula drop thing, turret things, and the rapier batteries. And then Templars are coming. Apparently, now we're getting Templars as well. High Eternal Crusader. Finally, it's a non-stop avalanche of Warhammer right now. So we're just talking all the things. I was trying to think of beforehand, like, do I focus in on a particular subject, or do I just? I couldn't. There was too much. How can you focus? If someone puts down a whole box of biscuits in front of you, like one of those Fox's collections with all the... How do you pick? How do you just go in. You just dive in, and whatever your hand touches first is... If it's a biscuit, if it's a digestive, that gets thrown back in the pile, obviously. Get away from me, digestive. Particularly when you've got a whole box of Foxes there. The cream ones with a little strawberry thing, or the bourbons, or the custard creams, or like a ginger nut. Who doesn't like a nice ginger nut? The good ginger nut as well has got some very good dunking value. So if you've got a whole box of biscuits in front of you, you don't sit there thinking... It doesn't become a long internal monologue debate. It's like, I'm just grabbing them and throw them back in the rich teas and throw them back in the digestives. That's what you do. And so when there's so much Warhammer happening as well, like last week, there was a lot of Warhammer happening. This week, a lot of Warhammer happening. You can't just lock in on one particular biscuit. You throw the crap back in, okay? And then you locus on... And also, by the way, you may have noticed, I'm a bit nasally. I've got about... My wife was a bit for a while, and... She had it quite bad, actually. She felt okay-ish, but she sounded like a wildebeest after just running a marathon. That big, jonking wildebeest has just run 2 marathons away from the saber-toothed tiger. And he's like, yeah. She sounded like that, which wasn't at all ladylike. And I'm glad I don't sound that bad. But and I wonder as well, talking about all the Warhammers that are happening this weekend, just gone, was March of Winters Chapter 3, which was awesome. And I wonder how many people I may have infected in that event, because apparently I have it now. Let's jump into the chat. Hi, chat. I've got to wear my glasses for this one. It's like last week I didn't have to, but this week, my eyes. Hi, Alan. Hi, Eternal Crusader. Hi, Tabletop Divinitatus. Hi, Lefredly Neighborhood Inquisitor. Hi, Alan Godfrey. Nearly recovering from March of Winters. I wasn't that bad. So March of Winters was absolutely lovely. Thank you for everyone who went, and thank you for gifting a membership, Friendly Neighborhood Inquisitor. GG's to Friendly Neighborhood Inquisitor. Starting off the stream strong just by dropping a membership in there. Thank you, Friendly Neighborhood Inquisitor. I appreciate you. But the night before, on the Friday night, got a little bit wrecked. But didn't get 100% wrecked. Got a little bit wrecked, so it wasn't that bad. I did wake up at 4:30 in the morning because Saltwin was sharing a room with Saltwin. He was banging around. I think he had it a bit bad. We forgot to eat. We had lunch on the way up, but we forgot to eat in the evening. And so, yeah, I think... But the evening before, not too bad. The next day, not too bad compared to other ones. Speaking of all... Where's the hell is all the Death Guard stuff? Can't find a combat patrol of Mortarion anywhere. Really? Is all the Death Guard stuff disappearing? I tell you, Death Guard, popular right now. Must be popular, right? Someone check that. I'm putting in Death Guard. Are you talking about in Games Workshop? You can't find any Death Guard in Games Workshop. There's some Element Games. I'm looking at that right now. But Games Workshop, Death Guard. No thanks. I don't want you to know. You already know. Oh yeah, that's not available. Combat Patrol, not available. Typhus, not available. There's a lot of stuff that's not available, huh? It's like they dropped an overpowered codex. See, this is the thing. So, like, there's Eternal Crusader. He can't find a combat. Look, Eternal Crusader. The reason why you can't find all the things is because they dropped an overpowered codex. And so all the sweaty boys are buying all the things. And for 3 months, okay, until because the balanced status slate thing, that for 3 months, they'll win all the tournaments and people will get lots and lots of high ITC points. And then in 3 months' time, they'll be nerfed into the ground and they won't be as good. So you could do yourself a favor and don't worry about it. Don't worry about getting Mortarion or the Combat Patrol unless you are building a collection and you want to get... If you're building a collection, Eternal Crusader, are you building a collection? Are you chasing a thing? If you're building a collection, then patience, young Skywalker. We can wait. We can wait. The collection will grow over time. But if you're chasing the thing, the sweaty boys are way ahead of you. You know what I mean? When will you bloody learn? Who? Me? I find it funny when people buy big-ass armies when they're strong. They'll be nerfed before you get it all painted. Yeah, exactly. You buy the big thing before you get it. Unless you're a sweaty boy that does like sprays one colour, picks out... You know what I mean? The 3-colour minimum. Like you get a Tyranid army and you spray it silver. No, not silver. You spray it like brown. Pick out the black claws. Highlight, dry brush a bit. Done. You know? It's either I buy more Death Guard or I start a new army. And I cannot justify starting a new army. So that's fine. You can wait until some more Death Guard stuff becomes available. And then you can buy all the Death Guard stuff when it becomes available. You can't justify a new army. You can always justify a new army. Have you not felt you're clearly a Death Guard player, but have you not felt the pull of the eternal... Empress Champion, Empress Children, my brain. Empress Children, the touch of Slanesh. You'll like a little bit of Slanesh. You'll get like one booby. One booby's great, particularly when you have no boobies. I mean, 2 boobies, really, really good. But 1 booby, I would... If someone offered me a booby, I'd take a booby. I'd like to have 2 boobies, but I'd take 1. You know? 3, I'll definitely have 3. Just wait until Horus Heresy 3.0 and then get a new army in the best format. I assume, Eternal Crusader, that Krieg... Oh, get Krieg. Get the Krieg. I assume that you're a Crusader, as in you really want the Black Templars. They've announced the Black Templars are coming. There's a guy with a flag. He's got a flag. He hasn't got a booby. He's got a nice flag. They're coming out. If you have space to grow an army, you have space to start a new one. Exactly. Preaching it from the top, Friendly Neighborhood Inquisitor. If you've got room to add the things to your things, then you might as well start with Empress Children. Have a booby. Who doesn't like a booby? Alan Godfrey has just dropped a tenner. Thank you, Adam. Thank you for the tenner. I appreciate you. Can we get Alan a GG's in the chat, please? Can we get Alan a GG's in the chat? March of Winters was awesome, says Alan. It was, wasn't it? I thought it was one of the best ones. Yeah, I really enjoyed myself this time. Everyone seemed to really enjoy themselves. I think the missions were cool. I came away from that. I got my dopamine hit. I came away with a little bit uplifted. And for a crotchety old man such as myself, for someone who yells at clouds, coming away from that with a little bit of dopamine, that's all I could ask for. My first event, and everyone was very welcoming. Fave was Attack of the Squig. You'll find that mission was called Attack of the Killer Squig, my friend. Attack of the Killer Squig. As it had a cool narrative on desert terrain with crashed, orcified Necron ships, 2,000 points of damage to a rhino. Yeah, Attack of the Killer Squig. There was an objective in the middle of the table which could run around all over the place, right? And if you got next to the objective, you got a point. It was a Killer Squig. And then at the end of your turn, regardless of whether the squig was near you or away from you, regardless of whether you held this objective, in your turn, you roll 2d6. In your opponent's turn, they roll 2d6. In your turn, you roll 2d6 and compared it to the table. And if you rolled a 7, you got another point. So it's not like you needed to get to the squig to get... If you got to the squig, you got a point for the objective. But if you were miles away from it and rolled a 7, you got a point. And then if you rolled a 7 again, you got another point. And then if you rolled a 7 again, you got another point. If you kept rolling 7, you would win. And I was stood by a table when this fella, I forget his name, he rolled 7, 7, 7, 3 sevens in a row. But at the same time, the squig could do some things. So it also had a super death stare of doom, which is what Alan Godfrey's talking about. I know a story about a super death stare of doom as well. So, super death stare of doom. So what you do is you roll a D3, that's how many shots. I think it was 11 on the table. A D3, that's how many shots the attack of the killer squig had for the super death stare of doom. But it hits on force. So you could have one shot, hit on a 4 and miss. But it was strength 1000, AP 1000, damage 1000. You can still fail to wound. Strength 1000, if you roll a 1 to wound, that fails to wound. But I was, again, at another table where it was with Tazanara, where the Super Death Stare of Doom shot and killed a Lehman Russ, a Rogel Dawn, which blew up. And the explosion blew up the Rogel Dawn next to it, which was injured. And that one blew up as well and hurt a couple of Sentinels nearby. It was like a chain reaction. One blew up, the other one blew up and showered shrapnel on the Sentinels nearby. A perfect Super Death Stare of Doom. I mean, stories like that coming out all day because the missions are designed, obviously, to be really serious and really competitive. Not swingy at all. They're designed to be as fun as possible. And I was going around and hearing all the stories and things. It was lovely. So, Alan, thank you for your donation. I'm glad you liked March of Winters 3. I really enjoyed it. And Damn Legion has been a member for 3 months. Morning Winters. It's evening, sir. I don't know what part of the world you call home. It is evening. Sun's going down over there. It's going down outside. It's clearly evening. Hope you're having a good stream. So far, it's been okay. Chat hasn't started shouting at me yet. So far, we're good. We're good. And so far, it's been largely cordial. Every now and then, though, you get the odd, You get the odd, someone come off the top rope with the elbow. Bam! Lowers the whole IQ. But right now, we're bubbling. We're cooking on gas. Morning, Winters. Hope you're having a good stream. Yes. With your awesome community. Mostly awesome. There is also a few... We won't mention them by name, brap. But there's a few. Keep up the great work. You're a bloody legend, mate. Av Imperator. Oh, thank you. Okay. New Zealand, sunrise. He's in New Zealand, guys. The sun is coming up in New Zealand. Where's Old Zealand? Where was Old Zealand? Like New York, I know where Old York is. But New Zealand, no one knows where Old Zealand was. I think they just made it up. That's why we know that New Zealand and Australia doesn't really exist, like the internet says, right? Because if New Zealand is a thing... Where was Old Zealand? See? Double bluff. We know. Doesn't exist. Old Zealand is in Holland. Stop talking sense, Sarah. Holland, Zealand. Apparently it's in Zealand. Zealand's in Holland. Apparently it's in Holland. Okay, so Old Zealand's in Holland. But does that count? Does Holland count? Isn't it like under, maybe the part of Old Zealand that's in Holland is under the sea? Mind you, most of Holland is under the sea, but not under the sea. Stop being knowledgeable, people. I should know my history. I am a historian, says Damned Legion. I should know about Holland. I'm half Dutch. Holland only exists for Hollandaise sauce. Exactly, Red Richmond. Coming in there with something sensible. Thank you for saving the chat. Yeah, but March of Winters, Chapter 3 at the weekend was lovely. Very much enjoyed myself. We had the Attack of the Killer Squig. We played Attack of the Tentacle Monster, which you've probably seen on the Bat Report last Sunday. That was really good fun as well. That one seemed to go down very well. And then a bit of Murder Bowl. New Zealand is a fictional place from Lord of the Rings. Yes, I think that's where the Balrog is from. Okay, Eternal Crusader. Yeah, enjoy the... Yes. Hi, Woodsy. Welcome to the chat as well. And Sarah. And Damn Legion. And, they've 20 minutes from Hobbiton. I know, they rebuilt it, didn't they? So they built the Hobbiton for Lord of the Rings. And then they tore it down or something after Lord of the Rings. But when they did the Hobbit movies, they had to rebuild Hobbiton. And then when they rebuilt it, they built it with the intention of leaving it as... Built with the intention of... With a bit more sturdiness than just a film set. And was at the same location. They did the rebuilding. So that it could become... They built it with the intention of it becoming a tourist destination in mind. The second time round. I'd love to go there. But it is such a long way away. And I'm not sure it exists. It's like 1 billion hours to get to New Zealand. And everyone's fleeing New Zealand anyway, apparently, and moving to Australia. I don't know why. What's wrong with New Zealand, damn Legion? Why is everyone fleeing? Is that a political question? We have no politics on this channel. There's enough politics happening in the world right now. Oh, my Emperor, is there enough politics happening in the world right now? This is no politics, no religion. This is entertaining. This is supposed to be entertaining. We try and be entertaining. We fail most of the time, but we try, the royal we, that is, try to be entertaining. And also occasionally try and talk about Warhammer. Occasionally. Mainly food. Does that count as building terrain? What are you talking about, Will Highfield? Yes, building Hobbiton is definitely building terrain. Lots of terrain. And I've on the YouTubes, I've watched a couple of people on the YouTubes do the tour thing and actually walk around it. Cost of living in this economy. It'd be nice to live in a hole though, wouldn't it? In the ground. A nice little hobbit hole. Yeah, I mean, they just like drinking. What did hobbits like? They like drinking, eating, farting, singing a bit, and that was it. The ring, the one ring, found it difficult to corrupt them because they didn't want anything. Anyone who wanted to be faster, bigger, stronger is like, oh, that was a bit too, that's a bit too crass. Anyone who wanted to be the leader and in charge is like, do you really want to? Anyone who wants to, I mean, even Bilbo, when he wanted to go off exploring and hobbiting and things, it's like, oh, look at him do it. No, they didn't want to do that. The new Heresy Rapier models didn't sell out like the new Kill Team Typhon box. A bad signal from the Heresy customers to Games Workshop. Yeah, I think the reason why the Heresy Rapier models didn't sell out is because they announced Heresy 3.0 and then just before Heresy 3.0 comes out, they're releasing new models. And people are like, well, I don't know what they do. Are they going to be any good? The Heresy Rapier models, we could have had them 2 years ago. Or if Heresy 3.0 was just an evolution of Heresy 2.0, then you'd know what they do. And I think they'd sell a lot more Rapier models. See, look. Someone asked me the other day, Winters, what do you think of Heresy 3.0? And I've had time to think about what I think about Heresy 3.0. And I want to sum it up. It's quite easy to sum up, really. And that is, I haven't seen anything yet that makes me not want to play it. There's a bunch of stuff I've seen. There's the basic stuff like... So there was the initial gut reaction. It's complicated. You can see it. The brain is... There was the initial gut reaction like, why? And is it change for change's sake? And is it... Did they just ignore the entire community? They asked the entire community what they thought. And then they said, well, thanks for your feedback. We're going to do this instead. There's all those complicated questions and clashing ideas bubbling in my brain. Put them to one side. Don't yell at clouds. Grrr, screw you, clouds. Instead, look at what they are. Look at what they're showing us, and what they're showing us. I'm interested in playing. I want to give it a go. There's nothing that makes me not want to play it yet. I think the epic challenges, they could be quite good. See, at its core, the weapon skill difference, the initiative difference, the fighting marine on marine is still there. And the initiative difference and weapon skill difference chart thing isn't in 40k anymore. But the fact that it's in Heresy makes it feel like its own unique thing, and that system quite works. They've got to get the marine on marine action right, because it's the Heresy. It's about Space Marines. So that part works works well. And then the fact that vehicles have armor facing, and that the vehicles behave differently to models with wounds. They've got them in there. And then there's all these other changes that are happening with damage and vehicles and weapons and deep strike, and not assaulting out of deep strike. Only deep striking one unit in. I mean, there's going to be rules and characters that allow you to deep strike more than one a turn, rather than just only one a turn. No assaulting from deep strike. If that's a blanket rule and no one can do it, fine. There's law reasons why you might deep strike in, then shoot, then assault. Not just deep strike in, shoot, and assault. Particularly if it's a blanket for everyone. But then if there's bits which allow some people, I'm willing to give it a go. I'm interested to give everything a go and see what it's like. And there's some bits that actually have my interest. Some things that have perked up my little tail and made me think, 1 minute, that could be quite good. Let's give this a go. And Rue, thank you for gifting a membership, you absolute legend. What do you think? Is there anything in the new Heresy rule set by the fact that you look at it and you think, I really don't want to play that game? And yeah, like the rapier thing, by the way, earlier on, like I would have bought a lot of rapiers, but I'm not gonna, because I don't know what the new edition does yet. I feel like I might want Saturnine Terminators and Saturnine Dreadnoughts and Saturnine this, that, and the other. So they released these models like a month, a week, a weekend before Heresy comes out. It seems very curious. But Rue, thank you for the membership. Really wish they would show some rules for Mechanicum for Heresy 3.0. That would be nice. No rerolls seems wild. No rerolls, 0 rerolls. It does look like the main philosophy behind it is much less rerolls. Like Shred doesn't grant a reroll anymore. That gives extra damage on a roll of X. Hatred doesn't give rerolls anymore. That's just +1 to wound. It looks like most of the rerolls have gone, and instead we've got this, and most of the rules buff. So in Heresy right now, there is hardly any rerolls compared to 40k. There's still some rerolls, but there's not a lot. And there's rules that really hurt you and rules that really help you. Blind really hurts, pinning really hurts, shock pulse really hurts, so it's all or nothing kind of rule set. And it looks like it's a lot more gradular, with a lot less rerolls, hardly any, and a lot more on the positive side rather than the negative side. There's a lot of rules that will benefit you rather than a lot more rules that will hurt you, like blind, like shock pulse, things like that. So that makes it interesting. That makes it interesting as well. Where are we? Are you doing your own old world army? Not at this time. Last time they said last rerolls, it turned out to be a lie. Games Workshop lied to us. Outrageous. Someone call a lawyers in. I'm sure Games Workshop have never in the history of history ever lied to anyone ever. Everything they only say is only the truth. I love Games Workshop. Games Workshop are great. Starting to sound like people read the rules. I can't. Paco the Taco Bender's in. Thanks for your donation, mate. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Can we give a GG's in the chat for Paco the Taco Bender? And there's one up there as well. I made it before the end. Do you still play any old editions off camera? No. And then down here, how do you feel about instant death being gone? 2 things. Paco the Taco Bender, thank you. GG's in the chat to him. Do you still play old editions off camera? No. I've never played any. I've only ever played the edition that's in front of me. There's been a couple of exceptions, literally a handful of games. But only the thing in front of me. And then how do I feel about instant death being gone? I don't mind. So they've now got damage is now more of a thing. More things will have wounds, and damage is a thing. So one of the things they brought, difference between 1.0 and 2.0 is damage. Damage suddenly appeared. Things had wounds. And then there was a damage characteristic called Brutal. Brutal 2, Brutal 3. Thunderhammer's Brutal 2. Some things were Demolish a Shell, Brutal 3. Siege. There was Brutal. Brutal came in damage. That came in, and they've seemed to have more damage and more wounds. This edition, 3.0, that's definitely one of the ways they're going. And With that, you don't really need instant death. If a melter shot in melter range is going to do 6 damage, which it will, what characters are going to have 6 wounds? I mean, at the moment, that's Primarch level 6 wounds. So in the next edition, it won't. A melter will probably not. And Primarchs will probably have a rule like can only lose 1 wound at a time, like Eternal Warrior is now, I guess. But yeah, instant death being gone with the down. I don't think will be good. Did you see the Saturnine Praetor has 6 wounds? There we go. 1 less than Vulcan. Outrageous. Yeah. So I think the Primarchs. Yeah. Because the Saturnine Terminators, like Terminators right now have 2 wounds, 2 wounds, 2 wounds, 2 wounds. And then a Saturnine, and then a Centurion Terminator, 3 wounds, 3 wounds, 3 wounds. So in the future, Saturnine bigger, tougher, 3 wounds, toughness 6. Saturnine Terminators, 3 wounds, toughness 6. Nice. Feels chonky as all hell, and they'll have an invulnerable save. Let's face it, Saturnines are gonna be the chonkiest things walking around on foot other than Dreadnoughts. So I'm down with that. And then the Praetors having 6 wounds, down with that. Because that means the Primarchs are going to have like 8, 9, 10 wounds. I think they said like hull points. Predators have got like 5, or was it 6 hull points? The wound and damage thing is going up. So hull points up, damage up. That's the... Again, we can sit here and debate about did they need to? Why? I mean... Rules, war game, you can have these rules, you can have those rules, you can have a little bit a little bit you can so they've decided to go in a new direction. The old direction was less wounds, less hull points. It was much more significant when you lost a wound or when you lost a hull point, particularly when your Predators only had 3. You lose a hull point, you feel it. Centurions, normal Centurions, your chaplains, you think they only had 2. You lose a wound, you feel it. So they've decided to go in a different direction now. Add more wounds, more hull points. You're not going to feel it as much when you lose a wound or a hull point. But when you get hit by a damage high weapon and it one-shots your characters or one-shots a Dreadnought, then you'll still notice that too. And the ability to still one-shot, they've mentioned, you'll still be able to one-shot a Dreadnought with a multi-melter or a melter in close range, which you can't do right now. You can't one-shot a Dreadnought right now. You could in 1.0 and going back, because they were vehicles, you could one-shot them, kill them. Can't do that with a melter right now. Will be able to in the new edition. So the granularity, it's broad. Paco the Taco, what is it? Thanks for another donation. Rant about vehicle pen table being different. Yeah, exactly. You can, the vehicle pen table, use, the old vehicle pen table has been around for ages and it's moved over time. Like, you got shaken, stunned, weapon destroyed, immobilized, blown up, right? But it used to be worse than that. On a 1 it was shaken, on a 2 it was stunned, on a the vehicle damage table has evolved over time to where it is now. And now it's changed. So there is no explodes result. So you're not going to get a shot through with 1 gun to shoot a thing to explode it, because there's no explodes result. But multi-melters, melt guns, we haven't seen the things for like neutron beam lasers. There will be some guns out there that does a lot of damage from range, which will still effectively one-shot a vehicle. And then they changed basically you've got shaken, stunned, pinned. The vehicle damage table has 3 results now, but no explodes. And I forget what they've called them, but it's shaken, stunned, pinned. It's snap firing. It's not moving and snap firing, and then it's just immobilized. So that's the thing. The vehicle damage table has changed. The explodes result's gone. The statuses are the same-ish. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a go. We'll see. 10 las cannons stood still can do 20 damage still. That'll kill a vehicle. If they all get through, that kill a vehicle. And melters and high damage, there'll be things. But if they keep that mentality, they can't release these big models that look like they should dish out major damage. They can't die off one wound. Well, the really big stuff, like Lords of War, super heavy things, can't die off one wound anyway. The really big models couldn't. They had rules to prevent them from it. The explodes result on a Lord of War, on a Titanic unit, didn't cause the vehicle to explode. The explodes result caused the vehicle to lose D3 additional hull points. That's what happens. Now, in the future, it might seem, because of the way the damage table is going to work, maybe the big tanks will be easier to take down, unless they have because when they get hit by a melter at short range, right now, get hit by a melter at short range, it can do D3. If it gets through and does the explodes results, it can do 1 plus D3, 1 plus D3. But a melter in short range in the new edition in melter range will do 6 damage, 6 hull points, which is more than it can do now. So if that's a thing in the new thing, then then their big things won't last as long as the things do right now. Do they still explode when they die? Only if they the explodes rule. Like the Sat9 Terminators actually have the explodes rule. But not on the vehicle damage table. So, yeah. They are left on... When they die, they're left on the table and become items of terrain. Like they do now. Unless they explode. And that will happen if they're the explodes rule. You have to kill Titans twice now, I think. Destroy 2 body parts completely right. Not right now, no. A Titan reduced to 0 hull points will explode in your face. So it's just a case of chipping away the hull points on the Titan. Reaver Titan, 18 hull points, get it down. They have a certain number of wounds, but breaking parts makes them easier to penetrate, so far more damage, but you don't have to kill every part of the Titan. Oh, you mean like going forward? Yes. So the rules for Titans are changing. Everything's changing. Particularly when it comes to wounds and damage. 6 hull points to something that has 28 is less than 3, I think. Like Deadly Might, sorry. But yes, 3.8, yes. So Titans... The Titan mechanic, I'm not 100% familiar with at this time. But, yeah, you can break bits of Titans now. And you couldn't do that before. The super heavies would ignore vehicle damage and everything on the thing. The flyers going forward, flyers are going to ignore all the things on the thing. Flyers are going to be like some kind of weird mini game now, where you assign them a role, they do the role, like combat air support or delivery, drop in, drop off, and then you assign your other flyers, like these flyers are going to do this, and these flyers are going to do that, and they have their own thing. And then, they aren't going to take vehicle damage. They're not going to take the results. The vehicle, the flyers rules are stripped down, so they're not going to interact very much with the stuff that's on the table unless they hang out in combat airspace in VTOL mode for a turn, which I like, because flyers, you don't see them very much in this edition because Interceptor's so strong. They fly on, they get intercepted, they die. So it'd be nice to see flyers back again, floating around and actually doing things. Games Games Workshop haven't talked about flyers yet. Be careful. I have no information about Saturnine at this time. I know nothing about Saturnine at this time other than the stuff that I've read or seen on the leak site. So the stuff about flyers that I'm telling you right now, I have no Saturnine information here at all. Everything I know through leaks. There's a nice YouTube channel called Heresy Hammer, and they've been mining the leaks on Reddit and telling everyone about the leaks. And so subscribe to Heresy Hammer on YouTube, and you'll get all the leaks and things. Do you have a date for the new release? Nope. A new edition is so different, I have no clue whether I'm going to like it or not until I actually get to play it. That's what I mean. Yeah, I was hoping for 2.5 as well, One Dead Soul. We were all hoping for 2.5. Games Workshop listened to the entire community and then ignored it and came out with 3.0. But I haven't seen anything yet that makes me think that it's going to suck. I've seen a few things that I might question, but right now I'm quite looking forward to it. Didn't the new rulebook get leaked? Yes, the new rulebook got leaked. The new rulebook is all over certain Reddits. I don't do the Reddit thing, but I do listen to YouTubers who report on the leaks and show screenshots of the things. So Blackbriar Gaming has done a few rundowns of the leaks, and Heresy Hammer have done a few rundowns of the leaks. I want more gunships. I can do Vietnam air support with Auxilia. Yeah. Several pages, but not all of it. Do all the 2.0 books become obsolete now? Yes, they will. Yeah, just like 40k. Yeah. It'll be... So, when 3.0 drops, they're releasing new Libers on day one. So, you buy the new Heresy, and then you buy all the new Libers, which is what they did, which are the codexes, which is what they did for 2.0. It's because 40k and AOS don't get 0.5 editions. They're rolling up Horus Heresy into mix now, new edition every 3 years. Yeah, it looks like we're going to be getting new editions every 3 years. Heresy, yeah, it looks like this is going to be a thing. Hopefully it'll go to a 4-yearly cycle, seeing as they have 4 main games. But we'll see. It might be somehow 40k, AOS, Old World, and Heresy get put on 3-yearly cycles. One of the things that appealed to a lot of people on the Heresy side of things, though, was that it wasn't the constant churn. Was that you could get into it and play it and know that it isn't getting touched for a while. But here we are. I would say 9th was more of an 8.5 edition for 40k. Exactly. Like 40k 2nd edition was 1st edition with some bells, and 40k 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th edition was the same rule set with evolving over time. Between 4th and 5th edition, the only thing they brought in was the run mechanic, and there was a few other bits they brought in, but hardly anything changed between 4th and 5th edition. But in 4th edition you couldn't run. There was a couple of changes, but not much. There was a tidying up. So 1st and 2nd were one rule set. 3rd to 7th edition was another rule set of 40k. 8th and 9th was a one edition of, and then 10th is built around, 10th edition is built around the same guts as 8th edition, because there is the AP. The way you hit and wound and AP and save is the same. That core is the same. But they changed a lot between 9th and 10th, didn't they? Because you got the rule of 3 now. Beforehand, you never had the rule of 3. Now you've got the rule of 3. And you've got lethal, sustained, and da-da-da. And you've got, underneath it all, is the idea that you can't be wounded on more than not hit. Wounded you can be, but hit on more than a +1 and -1 built into the core. That was a big change, built into the core. And the rule of 3 built into the core. That changed the 40k game rather significantly, and devastating wounds. 3 years is too fast. Everyone agrees with you, cultured American. Merker! He's a cultured Merker. I sound a bit like Carpenter, don't I? Merker! 3 years is too fast. Everyone agrees. Everyone thinks 3 years is too fast. Barely had a few games of 10th edition, and now I'm realising 11th edition is less than a year away. You've had a couple of games of 10th, and 11th edition is next year, May. It'll come out. Normally comes out in May. Dare I say, are you looking forward to 40k 11th? A lot of people are looking forward to 40k 11th. This is the difference between the Heresy community and the 40k community. Almost everyone in Heresy community didn't want a new edition. And if a new edition was coming, can it just be a tweak of the rules? everyone in the Heresy community that I spoke to, there'll be exceptions to every rule, but everyone was very, very happy with the rule set. 40k, on the other hand, there's a large chunk of people in the 40k community that wouldn't mind to see a change already, who think that the edition might have gone a little bit left already and needs to add a bit more of the random element, a bit more of the fun element, a bit more of the casual element to 10th edition, which is really the most tournament edition of 40k we've ever seen. It's like designed from the ground up to be 40k the tournament edition. So I'd rather quite like a 40k edition which was a bit less tournament-y or had more flexibility to allow for other type. But here we are. So I'm kind of looking forward to 11th edition. Hi Dats and Des, thank you for your 33 months. It's a very long time. I appreciate you, Serge. So howdy to you too. Does the Heresy players have a big portion of people that just don't move forward? Right, so yeah, that's a good point, Marius Gage. Yeah, there is always, I don't know how big it is, but you're asking whether there's a big portion of people who just stay playing 1.0 or 2.0 in the Heresy community. There is always a portion of people in the Heresy community and in the 40k community and pick a community, any community, gaming community, just gaming consoles in general, who stick with a certain... There are people out there playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, and they haven't got Black Ops right now. They haven't got the latest and greatest thingy bob. There's people out there playing. People stick with editions. How big the number is, the people who stick with editions, it's yeah, but there's people who stick with editions. And yeah, I've always played the game in front of me. I'm looking forward to looking at cautiously optimistic about 3.0. I want to give it a go. And see what these rules, see what juice can be squeezed, what narrative can be squeezed from these rules. I lost my taste of AOS because 4th came out. Made some nice lists and then all the balanced update and just F that right up. I still think the tournament scene was the best and worst thing that ever happened to Warhammer. It made it more popular but tore out the soul of the game. See, the tournament scene, the tournament scene was very good to Warhammer. It made it more popular. It has helped to make it more popular. Tournaments are very, very popular right now. It's helped to make it more popular in general. But as I said a million times before, you don't have to have one or the other. It can be both. Warhammer 40k can be a casual game with a tournament pack attached to it. Call of Duty is a casual game with a tournament pack attached to it with Search and Destroy or Domination. You can do it on video games. You can do it on 40k. You can do it on... It's a game. It's a game system. You can have your game... It all comes down to the mission packs and the restrictions and the comps that you put in place. Before 40k was a massive tournament edition, you had, back in 7th edition, 6th edition, you had the community looked after it themselves before Games Workshop got involved. You can have both. We can have our cake and eat it when it comes to 40k. I'm still stuck in 1992. Nice year. Well done, mate. That's a good year. I'll be more than happy to see the end of 10th. Not enough flavour. That's another complaint about 10th edition as well. Like, where it does seem to be lacking a little bit of flavour, right? Orcs need to feel like orcs. There needs to be some more random shizzle in there. Space Marines need to feel more differentiated. The difference between Space Wolves and Blood Angels right now is closer than it's ever been. They do feel different, but not as different as they used to feel. There's something been squeezed out of the edges there. There isn't as much flavour as there used to be. And it'd be nice to see some flavour come back in. A bit more flavour come back in. COVID was the best thing that happened to Warhammer and the worst thing that happened to Warhammer. COVID really lit a fire under Games Workshop cells and they loved it. I'm still convinced, partially convinced, that COVID was probably started by some secret cabal of war gamers somewhere, like, and all these companies got together and like, right, what we need to do is global disease, and then people will be stuck inside building their model trains, putting their Airfix models together, making their B-52 bombers and painting Warhammer. It was great for their sales. They loved it. It was horrible for the game because sales went through the roof. They thought, oh, this edition's really, really popular. We'll keep doing this and we'll keep doing this and we'll keep doing... You needed a PhD by the time you got to the end of 9th edition. Do you remember the AdMech Codex? Do you remember that meme, which wasn't a meme? That chart showing you all the interactions that you needed to play AdMech that went around the internet. You know the one that I'm talking about. Like, you need to have this tech priest talking to this thing, but the canticles and this thing and the thing, and how it was a spider's drunken birthday party of a mess, that chart. That was 9th edition. More rules with your rules. Tabletop Simulator Skyward. I only came back because of COVID 2021. Bored and found my paints in the garage. Yeah, lots of people came back because of COVID. Pootle. Hi, Pootle. You're here on Thursday. Stylus and I were unaffected by COVID, as we've always played 40k by Skype. Skype Hammer. The codexes and supplements went too far, but the core rules of 9th were solid. The core rules in 10th are solid. Missions, on the other hand, and the codexes are losing a bit of flavour. I remember your rage view of the Gene Stealer Cults book. Yeah, so does Games Workshop. They don't like that one. The core rule for Gene Stealer Cults, it wasn't that hard. But it went on and 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 on to give you basically a +1 to hit if something was a bit close. They could have got rid of all of it and said, if you do your ambush and you're within 12, +1 to hit. If a rule takes more than 2 sentences to get across, you really need to look at the rule. That's what I think when it comes to rules. You know? That's what I think. It should be... It should be simple. And then you can combine a rule with another rule. Like, you could have a rule saying, I don't know, feel no pain 5+. If your dude loses a wound on the roll of a 5+, you do not lose that wound. 2 sentences, 1 sentence. But you can mix it with other stuff, like you can have a rule that says feel no pain and a rule that says reduce feel no pain by +1, -1. You can eat that. The rule should be simple, because then you can snap them a bit. And how many times have we seen it on data sheets where you say, hey, if this thing leads this thing, then the unit gets lance and sustained. That's what Lord of Contagion does right now. If Lord of Contagion is leading Blight Lord Terminators, then in melee they get lance and sustained. So you can say that quite quickly. See, that's a sentence. And there's a lot of stuff going on there, but simple. Melee, lance, sustained. Yeah. But when they write the Codex Gene Stealer thing, and it's like pages and pages and not pages, but paragraphs to try and get this idea across. It was a brain-breaking. The PhD that you needed to get to play AdMech. It was hard. 9th edition was hard. Reactions are better than stratagems. Reactions and stratagems are the same thing. Same mechanic, but it's like the reactions are a mechanic which allow your opponent to interact in your game turn, not just their game turn. And stratagems are the same thing and more. Stratagems allow you to do more things in your turn, but their stratagems also allow your opponent and you to interact with the rule set in opposing turns. That's good. It keeps the... I like the fact that there's stratagems in 40k. I like the fact that there's reactions in Heresy. But underneath what's going on with the various mechanics, the baseline mechanic is the same thing. It's allowing both players more time to... The days, the old school people here will remember the days back in the day where you would just wait for 20 minutes and just roll dice when your opponent said roll dice. Those days are gone, which is good. There's a lot more interaction. I like it. Even in With Boot Chronicles. But you know all the reactions to your opponent's stratagems are too many to know. Yes. Again, yes. I agree. So are reactions better than stratagems? There it is. You're asking a different question. It is, do you want to have a very limited number of... So the reactions, there's a limited number of reactions, so you know what your opponent is doing and you know what you can do when it's your turn to react. There's only a very small pool to draw from. And when you have like 1,000 stratagems, it's very difficult to learn and interact. Yeah, I agree. I'd much rather the pool was rather than huge. I like the fact it's you can get more strategic in Heresy, knowing the reactions and what they are and how they are. And then in 40k, you're asking your opponent all the time, aren't you? It's almost impossible to know what all their reactions are and all. Like what detachment you bringing today? Oh, I'm bringing the Jaffa Cake detachment today. What did the Jaffa Cake detachment do? Well, they can do this. Brilliant. And you will ask beforehand, what are the gotchas? Well, the gotchas are, if you shoot at a unit, then the unit that shoots at my unit automatically blows up and dies. My unit automatically blows up and dies when I shoot a unit. Yeah. So if you shoot within 12, you have to shoot longer than 12 away, and then your unit won't automatically blow up and die. Okay, no more gotchas. No more gotchas. And then you start playing the game, and you don't know what all the things does, and then the guy deep strikes an inch away from your guys, and you're like, why do you... No, I'm playing this stratagem, and then they charge, and then you're dead. So it's hard to figure out what's going on in 40k. And if you're not comfortable enough having the conversations with the people about what's happening at the time, or if they're just lying bastards when it comes down to what stratagems and how things work, then before you know it, it becomes a gotcha game. Gotcha. And people get very upset. And so restricting it down to a limited number of reactions, a limited number of stratagems, gets rid of all of that. Saw Cola Bottle flavoured Jaffa Cakes at the weekend. Dude, Triple D Wargaming, I saw Cola Bottle flavoured Jaffa Cakes at the weekend as well. And we were zipping past the thing, and I remember like cola flavoured Cola Bottle Jaffa Cakes. And you've just reminded me about them, because I remember we left the shop, we were going around doing the supermarket sweep, and chucking all the things in, running to the end, and then my brain was like, I saw Cola Bottle Jaffa Cakes. Has anyone tried them? And then it occurred to me in the evening, while at home, while I was sitting down with my brew, dunking away with my hobnobs, like, I wish I had a Cola Bottle Jaffa Cake right now rather than a hobnob. I wish I'd have picked them up. And then I forgot about them the next day, today, until you reminded me. And now I want some Cola Bottle Jaffa Cakes. Is a Jaffa Cake a New Zealand thing like Vegemite? No, cultured American. Jaffa Cake it's a UK thing. It's a UK thing. It's a cake, which is the size of a biscuit. Not your kind of biscuit, a real biscuit, but a cake. And they went to court to prove that it was a cake rather than a biscuit. It's like a a Jaffa Cake. Okay, let me explain it to you, because you'll love this. a little round pudding of sponge, about this thick, with a lump of marmalade, I don't know what you guys call marmalade, in the middle, layered with some chocolate goodness. Now, a couple of ways you can eat Jaffa cake. You can just munch a Jaffa cake. You can do that. But you can also try and peel off the chocolate layer and then go for the orange layer underneath, like incision it like a surgeon, and then you just gobble up the orange, the thing in one hit. But the sponge, but they are bloomin' lovely. Like a hot dog is technically a taco. What are you talking about? Flavor should come from relics and enhancements. Right, yeah, back to 40k. Back to 40k. What is the best gaming table snack? That's a good question. I'm going with hobnobs. Off the top of my head, hobnobs is a really good gaming table snack. That is a good gaming table snack. What is the best gaming table snack, guys? Snack. Not meal, snack. Peanuts are no good because your peanuts, you get your salt on the finger, then salt on the miniatures. I've tried peanuts and crisps. No good for gaming table snacks because the bits, it's no good. Pretzels will probably be pretty good. Pringles might be okay because they're only a bit dusty. But Pringles aren't proper crisps, are they? Pringles aren't really crisps. I don't know what Pringles are, but they're definitely not a crisp. In the same way like tomato is definitely not a fruit or a vegetable or one of them. It's not one of them. Tomatoes are not sane and they should be illegal. Let's face it. Beer is the best gaming table snack. Soft pretzels, not hard pretzels. I'm a hard pretzel. Ugh. Yeah. Disassembling a Jaffa is the only way. Woodsy, TM, Woodsy, disassembled. Jaffa cakes disassembled bit by layer. Oh, so good. No such thing as vegetables. I know, right? There is no such thing as vegetables. Hobnobs, no argument. They're the best. Tabletop stack. Encadia stands. It does stand, just in lots of different places. Encadia stands in lots of different places. A sirloin is not a snack, but it's a lovely cut of meat. A sirloin steak. Is that the most expensive one, or is it the fillet one? I don't think I've ever had a sirloin or ever had a fillet because I'm just so cheap. Sweeties. You can always bribe your opponent with the sweeties. Yeah, man. Smarties would be a good. Yeah. Hobnobs fall apart too messily. Hobnobs do not fall apart too messily. How dare you? Hobnobs fall apart like beautiful snowflakes. You vote for the caramel chocolate hobnob. Okay. Yeah. I mean, a hobnob is the chocolate hobnob, right? A hobnob is the caramel hobnob. No one raw dogs hobnobs anymore without the coating. Hobnobs need to be coated in shit. You don't just... Who eats raw hobnobs? Who? It's like having milk. It's like having tea without sugar. No one has tea without sugar. Who does such a thing? Horrible people do. That's why awful people who have awful taste and probably listen to The Cure or something. Mind you, I quite like The Cure. I've just eaten half a chocolate cake. It was good. Now I want a chocolate cake. Fillet or porterhouse? What is a hobnob? Is it a hobnob or a hobnob? The first one. Beef jerky. Beef jerky is a good snack. Hobnobs, yeah. Hobnob is a biscuit. Again, cultured American. It's not like your type of biscuit. It's a proper biscuit, which tastes like a biscuit and you can dunk it in tea with sugar in it. Biscuits, sugar test, tea. Your biscuits you can't dunk in tea, and you don't make tea in a microwave either. Okay, we're not. Can we? Hobnob is a new Orc commander. What is a hobnob? It's a cookie. A cookie is a type of tea. You know, like every rectangle is a square, but not every square is a rectangle. It's a bit like that. A cookie is a biscuit, but not every biscuit is a cookie. Okay? This is where we are in the world. Right. Warhammer. I'm hungry now. I want a cola bottle flavoured Jaffa cake. Cat? Do we have any Jaffa cakes? Do we have any Jaffa cakes? We don't have any Jaffa cakes. I might have to go to the shop and get some Jaffa cakes. See if they have the cola flavoured bottle Jaffa cakes. You know, like we were talking earlier on, chat. Earlier on, we were talking biscuits. Look, earlier on, stratagems, reactions. Underneath, in Heresy, you have reactions, things that you can do while your opponent is playing in their turn. And in 40k, stratagems, things that you can do while your opponent is playing in their turn, and things that you can do as well. Is there too many stratagems in 40k? And if there is too many stratagems in 40k, does that mean that there's too many detachments? You know, like Space Marines have got like 6, and then if you've got Blood Angels, there's like 4 in there and 6, and that's 10. Like the World Eaters book, I love the fact that there's like 5 in the World Eaters book, but do they really need 5? Surely be like the Rhino Rush. You know, like here's the one that immediately springs to mind. The one at the end of all the codexes they keep dumping in there now is the one with all the commanders in it. Is the one with like Mortarion and lots of Terminators and commanders, or the one in the Custodes book which affects all the characters and all the champions, and they've only got 2 anyway. Is that one could get binned, right? Surely we could have half. See, the other thing, people only play 2 or 3 detachments anyway. Because if your math says if you've got like 6 detachments, then probability means that one of them is going to be good and one of them is going to be bad. So a couple might be good, a couple might actually suck, and then you got the ones in the middle that no one wants to play anyway because they're not the good ones. Why don't we just have like 2 detachments? Would it be bad if there was 2 detachments per codex? Just 2. Would that be bad? 3 tops. Would that be better? Or would it be worse? Would it be bad? Would it be good? There'd be less stratagems, so you could learn it quicker. Or is the other way to go, make stratagems more universal? So I'll give you an example. We've got what is it called? Armor of Contempt. Armor of Contempt, -1 AP, But there is about 12 different stratagems which are Armor of Contempt, which are called another thing. 12 different names. So you could have one stratagem called, I don't know, give it a name, My Armor's Really Great, Yo, and then have that same stratagem in the Chaos book, in this book, in the Void Armor, in the Leagues of Votan. My Armor's Really Good, bro. Put that in there, but give it the same name. So when you're playing against the Eldar player, and you're playing against each other, and like, oh, I've got this stratagem, I've got that stratagem, and this one's called this, and this one's called My Armor's Really Good, bro. And you're like, oh, I've got that one as well. Okay, yeah, in my detachment, I've got that one because I've got the Wraith things, and they've got that one. And then you've got similar, they restrict. What do we think? Detachments with unique strats and rules make too much to keep up with. It does. My Thousand Sons really only has 2 detachments. It's hard enough to remember 18 unique reactions in Heresy, and half of them are copied from each other. Why not 1? Why not just say, here is your army, here is how you play it, throw in whatever models you want. AOC should be a universal stratagem. Armor of Contempt. Yeah, and don't call it Armor of Contempt. Call it Better Armor. It could be Upgraded Armor. They could come out with a chunk of universal stratagems that are shared across all the codexes, so that when you say them, other people know what they are. And we know what the stratagems are as well. Like Armor of Contempt is one. Tough as Nails is one. Armor of Contempt is one. The other one is like -1 to hit, -1 to wound. But if the target is tougher than the strength of the attack. We know Advance and Charge, Fall Back and Charge. These are stratagems where we've seen sustained hits. ignores cover. That we see these stratagems again and again and again and again and again, with loads of different names spread across so many books. They could all have the same name. They could all draw from a pool. Armor of Disdain. You're talking about universal strats. I'm talking about universal stratagems. So you have universal special rules like lethal hits, sustained hits, all those sorts of things. And then it doesn't have to be all the stratagems, but so let's say 90% of the stratagems. Say there's 100 stratagems. Say there was 100 of them. And then when the game's designers are designing the detachments, 90% of those stratagems come from that pool. And then there might be one or two brand new ones for that particular, like Harlequins might have a stratagem, which is like a signature stratagem. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. There's a thing I'm responding to the thing that there's too many stratagems. There must be a way to make that system better, less confusing, less gotchery. There's a podcast in this. There's a whole debate in this. There's the video in this somewhere. Someone on YouTube's probably done it already. Much better than me. Quite frankly, I don't even know what I'm saying right now. But there's probably a video on YouTube somewhere of a couple of people a bit more intelligent than me debating like, hey, what's the better way to do with the stratagems? Because there's 1,000 of them, and really there's 500 of them because 500 of them are the same with different names. So really there's 500 stratagems because the other one, yeah. And there's a better way to do this system. It's Games Workshop. They won't do the better way. They'll reinvent the wheel in 11th edition or something. I don't know. But, yeah. Are we only talking about Heresy? We're talking about both. One really strong stratagem per Prancing Duck. Hi, welcome. Universal stratagem, Cuddle a Northerner. Thanks. Anyone else missed the old detachment system? The whole just take 3 of everything just feels lazy to me. If you want, they're never ever going to go back to the old detachment system. 3 of everything. Their sales went through the roof when they did the 3 of everything. When you had the old detachment systems with fast, heavy elites and things like that, you can bring a whole army of tanks now. You couldn't do it before. You can bring a whole army of elites now. You couldn't do it before. The amount of characters. Remember the amount of characters everyone had before 10th edition? You'd have a captain and a librarian on the battlefield if you're a Space Marine player. You might have a couple of chaplains. It was 2 characters, maybe a lieutenant as well. 2, 3 characters top. You didn't have very many characters. And now characters a box of Space Marines like 40 quid. One dude who's a captain, 30 quid. The markup on the captains and on the lieutenants and the character boxes are they're much, much more expensive than a box of 10 duck guys or a box of 5 guys. So, yeah. If they could find a way where you could bring 3 Marneus Calgars and 3 Lucius the Eternals, they'll do that as well. There'll be a stratagem which says, hey, smoke and mirrors, and you can bring 3 Marneus Calgars, and you go out and buy 3 Marneus. The rule of 3, their sales went through the roof. It was off the back of that they started building Factory 5. Yeah, AOS is going to go that way as well if they haven't gone that way already. And Heresy 3.0, they've completely changed the way you do detachments in Heresy 3.0. And I just know up above in heaven, in CEO world of Games Workshop, up in the gods, they looked down in the rules writing department and said, look at all the success 40k has done. Because of the rule of 3, you must change the detachment mechanic so that people can bring as much of what they want as whatever of what they want. And that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing in Heresy as well. The mechanic has changed completely. So if you want to bring a whole army of dreadnoughts, you can. If you want to bring a whole army of tanks, you can. If you want to fill the slots in, you'll get bonuses if you fill slots in and have the commander thing with auxiliary slots. You can do that, but you can bring whatever you want, which is pretty much what they did in 40k. And yeah, it's never going to go back to the old detachment thing. It was a sales master. They sold a lot. Wow, I hate it. Does anyone actually buy not named characters? Some people. AOS allows you to take as much as any unit as you like. Well, there you go. There you go. Did it always, AOS, allow you always to take whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted to? Except unique characters, of course. Okay. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, since day one. Right, okay. So they probably got it from the AOS crowd then. Are we buying 2 of the new non-names Black Templar Ancients? Yeah. Yeah. Black Templar Ancients. So beforehand, you would buy... Black Templar Ancients are coming, guys. New Black Templars, massive great flag, banner, walking around. Beforehand, you buy 1. I would have bought 1. You'd have bought 1. Everyone buys 1. You bring a chaplain. You buy a chaplain. If you're a Blood Angel player, you might have a chaplain with a jump pack. Done. But now... everyone's got 2 of the things. Eternal Crusader will be buying 2 of the Ancients. And those 2 Ancients will cost like $1 million. Will cost more than a pack of 5 Marines together. Or a pack of 10 Marines together. In 3rd, you'd have to have 3 battle line units. Exactly. And in 4th onwards, you'd only need, well, not battle line units, troop units. Are we talking about 3rd? I mean... are you talking about 40k or Heresy? In 3rd, you had to have 3 battle line units. I'm fine, Sullivan Gilbert. How are you, mate? You alright? Yeah. But in 3rd edition Heresy, you don't have to have any battle line units. You can just bring auxiliary stuff. He means AOS. Good, you're good. You're talking about AOS. I know nothing about AOS, guys. All I know is that AOS, all I know is that AOS exists in the Warhammer 40k universe, right? It's just one of these pocket dimensions, multiverses, Necronish things. It's another multiverse. 40k is basically one of the... it exists within AOS, or AOS exists within 40k. It's in there. Whereas Old World was a planet and a thing. And then AOS it has no bounds. It is the multiverse thing. It's like, how do you, where's the sense of stakes and meaning when it's infinite? The multiverse thing. A multiverse is just, when you have a map, who doesn't like a map in front of a book? Have a lovely map. That's where this takes place. Then there's stakes. Then there's edges. Then there's a border. Then there's how far can you go. Then there's something that could be killed. A nuke could be dropped on. Or zombies could invade. Troops are meaningful. It's all meaningless. No AOS. Stick to biscuits and 40k. AOS has maps, but they're just realms floating around. Where are they? Where are you? And I'm so sorry. I know where the Reich is. I know where Bretonia is. I know where Terror sits. In, troops will never be good. I run at least 40 tacticals in every heresy list I build. If your whole army is elite, you aren't playing a war game. You don't have an army. You're just power gaming. Troops will never be good. The number of times a unit of troops coming in from reserve has won me a game of heresy, I cannot count. It happens once every 5 games. Where is Cadia? Who is Cadia? How is Gamora? Nothing compared to the old world map. Exactly. Where is the Rock? Who is the Rock? Can you smell what the Rock is cooking? Hello, dudes. Hi, Monkey. Did everyone check out the battle report of the weekend? I put an old world battle report up between Monkey and Stylus at the weekend, and it was banging. It was one of the best games of Heresy, Old World, that I've ever seen. Because I've watched quite a few on the internet, and I played quite a few back in the day. And almost everything that could happen did happen over the course of that old world battle report. Like, the Unbreakable General broke. The veteran men-at-arms managed to do a thing. The Fanatics did a bunch of stuff. The Squigs broke all over the place. The Trolls were stupid, and then they weren't. There was a Marnius Calgar riding around on a horse, just killing everything. There were Doom Divers getting eaten out of the skies by demigryphs. It was lovely. It was great fun to play. We probably got loads of rules wrong. So far, in the comment section, no one has said that we got any rules wrong. And I don't think I've ever seen a game of any war game on the internet, on YouTube, ever, with rules wrong. I think all the games that exist on YouTube, all the rules are fine, 100%. I can't find one where someone's made a mistake, because it's so easy to play games. No one ever makes mistakes with them. So, yeah. Why is The Rock? Who is The Rock? So anyway, that was out on Sunday. The Old World Battle Report. That was really good fun. We finished that one quite late. Because it went on for some time. And also it was 3,400 points, which is the critical point to get to when you're playing Old World. But yeah, a lot of Warhammer happened that day. That was lovely. And then tomorrow, on Wednesday, the Winter's Wednesday Battle Report for Tier 3 channel members is... you got home at midnight, Monkey, on the set. Yeah, the Old World game. It went on for some time. Thank you for your sacrifice, sir. The nation appreciates your effort, but it was great fun. I had a great time in the room with you two guys. And anyway, the one on Wednesday, Winter's Wednesday Battle Report for Tier 3 channel members, is part 2 of Into the Deep campaign. That one's really good. The M4 was shut. Oh, bugger. When a custodian is coming back on the channel, I don't know. In the rule book for Heresy, it says you declare Shroud after all saving throws are made. Is that a fact that I missed, or did the whole world decide to ignore that sentence? You declare Shroud in the... Well, it seems like the whole world decided to ignore that sentence. So you make all your saving throws, and then you decide to Shroud or return fire. Yeah, it's like there's so many things in the Heresy book. Like when someone charges, you declare whether you want to overwatch or brace after they make the charge roll. And for the first 2 years of Heresy, we were declaring it before. I'm charging, okay, I'm going to overwatch or I'm going to brace. And yeah, and for the first year of Heresy, didn't even do the thing where if you fail your brace check, if you fail your leadership test and fall back, and then the unit that charged because you failed, you're falling back in a way like, oh no, we can't hold. And the unit that charges you, catches you, then you get swept. For the first year, didn't even do that. So yeah, there's a bunch of rules that people figure out like many years into the edition. Yeah. But yeah, Wednesday, part 2 of Into the Deep is coming out. And then Sunday, I don't know if Pootle's still in the chat, but I'm hoping to put Pootle's one from this Thursday up on Sunday. Demons vs. Grey Knights. And yeah. So thanks for the chat, guys. Thanks for dropping in. I think we're going to call it there. I'm going to press that button, and let you guys get away and have a lovely cup of tea and things. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for keeping me occupied this Tuesday evening. I needed a break. My eyes were beginning to, like that. I've been painting some flawless blades. We're getting there, guys. I've only done one that one. But now I'm like, we're smashing them. I downloaded Master of Mankind on the Kindle, on the, is it Kindle? Audible. What do you mean, wait? I downloaded I forgot how good that book was. Master of Mankind. Oh man, it's so good. So good. Like I recently listened to The Outcast Dead on Audible about 5 times over. When I was painting, I listened to it and I went back and listened to it because it's so much. I think I'm going to be there with Servo Skull. Just got here. Servo Skull, I'm going. Oh, you're in Mastermind. I like Master of Mankind on written one as well. It wasn't just. It's the first time on Audible. Like, as you guys know, I'm going through the whole of the Heresy on Audible for the first time. But on the written book, it was one of the good ones. I knew it was going to be good. And it's Jonathan Keeble as well, so I knew it was going to be good. Listening to Angel Exterminatus. Angel Exterminatus is a banging, stupid work. Jonathan Keeble's undisputed masterpiece. Jonathan Keeble and Toby Longworth. Love both of them. Love those two writers. Perturabo's kind of was. Perturabo does come on. Angel Exterminatus is a banging book. It is a very good book. It does both the Iron Warriors, Emperor's Children, and the Shattered Legions. It does the Iron Hands quite good as well. It's good. It's a Graham McNeil one. Graham McNeil, when he hits them out of the park. When he misses, he does Furia Magnus. But when he hits, he does Mechanicum and The Outcast Dead, which are just banging books. Absolutely banging books. Love that fella. I think Furia Magnus, though, he was moving continents at the time, so we can forgive him that one. And, thanks for popping in this Tuesday evening. Constantine Valdor versus, I don't know what you're talking about, Prancing Duck. Servoskull, thank you for gifting a membership. You still rambling? I was going to go, but then Servoskull just gifted me a membership, so now I feel obligated to stay for a bit longer. So we'll stay for a bit longer. Servoskull, do you have any questions? How was work? You okay? We were good. What did we talk about this evening? I mentioned March of Winters. That was really good fun. I had a great time. A little bit of dopamine dribble off the back of that. That was awesome. I think everyone enjoyed themselves very much. What else did we talk about? We talked a bit about Saturnine and the things coming. I'm looking forward to those Terminators. The more I look at them, the more I like them. We talked a bit about 40k as well today. We've talked a bit about biscuits. Biscuits came up quite a bit. And no, we haven't talked about beer, though. This has been a beer-free stream, but we did talk about biscuits quite a bit. And, we also talked, like, my voice, you might have noticed, is a little bit diseased right now. Not as bad as she had it last week. She was a sneezing, panting walrus rolling around in a muddy beach. Sound like the surf was going up her face. You know, it was horrible. Okay, she sounded like a beached hippopotamus. Don't tell her I said that, because she's skinny, by the way. She's really thin. She doesn't look like a beached hippopotamus. She looks like a meerkat, but cuter. But she sounded like an orc had swallowed a squig up their nose and was trying to breathe through their ears. That's what she sounded like. And I don't sound that bad, but I've definitely got it. Just found half a pack of biscuits. Result, Sullivan Gilbert. He's got half a pack of biscuits. Can a hippopotamus get beached? They can walk. Now to Eisenhorn. Eisenhorn is banging. Eisenhorn, once you do Eisenhorn, do Ravna. Once you've done Ravna, do Beckwin, do Magos. And once you've done Ravna and Eisenhorn and Magos, do the Beckwin lot. And then grind your teeth in frustration, knowing that we're still waiting for the third part in the trilogy from the Beckwin sequence for the last 5 years. Unbelievable. But when it comes, it's going to come hard, and there's going to be lots of moaning. Yeah. Some people, Marius Gage, some people prefer Eisenhorn, some people prefer Ravana. If you prefer Ravana, great. If you prefer Eisenhorn, great. But I've heard some people say Ravana wasn't as good as Eisenhorn. Some people think Ravana isn't that good. They still think it's good, but nowhere near as good as Eisenhorn. But I've heard it the other way around. Personally, I just see it as one long... It's like Lord of the Rings. You know, it's like that isn't one movie or one book. That is a movie, and that is one movie. Sorry, one long movie, one long book. You can't. Yeah. I'm on Hereticus. Hereticus? Of the Eisenhorn stuff. I don't know. It's just like one. I don't know which one that one is. Bear in mind, Dan Abnett, by the way, loves killing characters. Don't get attached to any characters that Dan Abnett writes about, because he is going to kill them. I'm looking at you, Erebus, at the end of the death. You absolute stain of a thing. More attached to Eisenhorn, but it's fine. I'm enjoying the change, and Eisenhorn suffered a bit scale creep by the... Yeah. Eisenhorn comes back in a big way in there. After you do Ravener, make sure you do the Magos as well. Do Eisenhorn, Ravener, and the Magos, the collection of short stories, because the second half of the Magos isn't really a short story. It's a 200-page book. It goes on for some time before you do the Beckwin sequence. And when you get back to Eisenhorn again in the future, he has evolved. He has reached the next level, and he's taken on Space Marines. The fact that you got Eisenhorn at the beginning, right, and what's going on there, and then Eisenhorn in the Beckwin sequence at the end is going toe-to-toe with Chaos Space Marines with a sword, is like the scale difference. The guy is he's definitely done his D&D campaign, and he's leveled up by the end of it. And Barbarossator thirsts. Eisenhorn trilogy was amazing. The omnibus has all the short stories in there. Yes, as per for advice while I've been back reading the short stories in chronological order between them. Yes. Tarvis is the real MVP. Soul Tarvis is a G. I know that you're referring to, I've always hated Erebus, but when Erebus... Yeah, that's Dan Abnett. You guys who have read Gaunt's Ghost know what I'm talking about, sure as sure. You guys that have read anything that Dan Abnett's done know what I'm talking about. He does like killing off characters. And, hey, it's grim and dark out there, and characters need to die. And we need good bad guys, okay? Everyone hates Erebus. Everyone hates the word bearers. That's fine. The best IPs have the best bad guys. Everyone knows who the Joker is. Everyone knows who Darth Vader is. The world knows who Darth Vader is. Everyone knows who Eric Cartman is. The best IPs have the best bad guys. And Erebus and the word bearers, they're up there. We needed them to really, really suck. And they do. So I'm kind of like, okay, I'm not fine with it. You bastard. You stabbed him in the back and everything. Yeah. Kitty. But, that's my kitty. Kitty! But, yeah, you need the good bad guys. Did you just lump Erebus and Eric Cartman in the same boat? I did, dude. I know. And on that bombshell, happy wargaming.